Since the late 19th century, throughout two world wars, a plague, the Great Depression, and nearly all other obstacles life has thrown at people, there's always been one consistency in American life: sports, specifically the national pastime of baseball. Since its start in America in 1869, baseball has acted as an escape for people from their day to day problems. Baseball, like all sports, has always been that escape, so people can just put aside their problems and relax and watch some sports for a few hours. However, this year in 2020, that almost changed and did to an extent. Today, I'm going to share with you how the coronavirus has negatively impacted the 2020 Major League Baseball season, how it almost canceled it, and the hoops they had to go through to avoid being canceled. In the process, I will talk about how the season came into fruition. I'll talk about the cancellation of the 2020 minor league baseball season, and I'll tell a few stories about some players' experiences with the virus. So this year, opening day for the MLB season was scheduled for late March, like always, but that was around the time that the country was getting shut down due to coronavirus, so it got delayed. No one knew for how long. At first it was a few weeks, then it was a month. Fast forward to late June, still no baseball. MLB and the Players Association couldn't come to any deals to get the season started, and fans were just left with no explanations of anything. The decision makers in the MLB were not only trying to figure out how to be safe as far as the virus goes, they were also just trying to figure out how to pay the players this year because it was going to be a shortened season. Additionally, a lot of people were skeptical of the season even happening at all. A lot of people thought it shouldn't happen. According to an article written by Thomas Boswell of the Washington Post, the season simply wasn't safe for people with pre-existing health conditions. For example, 71-year-old manager Dusty Baker, who has battled several life-threatening conditions for the last 2 decades of his life. So anyways, one failed deal after another. MLB and the Players Association finally struck a deal in early July. They decided that the season would be shortened from 162 games, which is normal, down to a measly 60-game season. This would put opening day at July 24th, and in their best effort to minimize coronavirus outbreaks, they decided that no fans would be allowed in attendance this year, so all games would be played in an empty stadium. So as you can guess, the loss of fans will really hurt their revenue this year. Just a few days ago, actually, MLB announced that they lost over $3 billion this year because of not having fans in attendance. Because of the loss of money that they knew was going to happen, they had no choice but to prorate the players' salaries this year. A prorated salary is basically a proportionate salary that reflects the current season. So the players' current salaries were based off of a 162-game season. This year they had much smaller prorated salaries that better fit a 60-game season. So with all those combined, everyone knew the season was going to be lackluster at best. But, people were just happy for baseball to be back. So additionally, because of the decreased revenue this year, MLB had no choice but to cancel the minor league baseball season. They really just couldn't fulfill the minor leaguers' contracts this year. According to an article by the Washington Post written by David Shannon, the business model that the minor league system is built upon isn't able to handle the financial implications that come when you remove fans from the stadium. MLB can handle this because they have TV endorsements. They're being broadcasted on TV all the time. But the minor league games are not on TV, so they are reliant on the money from the fans in attendance. Additionally, according to a graphic in a 2006 article by the Missouri University of Science and Technology, major and minor league teams tend to be based in cities with higher populations. Therefore, or that being said, the teams benefit from the local economies, which is supported in the graphic as well. And those cities have higher per capita personal income than the cities without any teams. So with that being said, it can be implied that the canceled minor league season really hurt the economies in a lot of major cities in America this year. So now that I've covered major and minor league experiences with the pandemic, all that's left is the actual effect the virus had on the players themselves. As previously stated, it was inevitable that the season would go smoothly without any outbreaks, but no one expected it to happen so fast. According to another article written by David Shannon, Marlins coronavirus outbreak won't derail MLB's just open season, at least not yet. Major League Baseball's first existential crisis in a season unlike any in its history came on the fifth day of its 2020 schedule, in the form of 11 players and 2 coaches testing positive on the Miami Marlins. No one expected it to go out of control on the 5th day of the season. Some players even came forward with their experiences of the virus. The Atlanta Braves first baseman Freddie Freeman, who put up an MVP caliber season this year, detailed his first few nights with the virus in early July. It was an interview covered by Jake Russell from the Washington Post, and Freeman said that the second night he had the virus, he woke up in the middle of the night with a fever of 104.5 degrees. And in a very emotional section of the interview, Freeman told how he feared for his life being ended that night, and he prayed to God to see another day. So while Freeman's story is the most notable, many players across the MLB suffered from COVID this year, and it was just really awful for everybody. The coronavirus has heavily impacted the MLB, along with all assets of life, has hurt the lives of many, and has taken hope away from people all across the country and globe. Many feared the 2020 baseball season was going to be canceled, and through many challenges, they avoided being canceled. And fans were rewarded with their patient wait with a 60-game season, further proving that no matter what life throws at us, the national pastime, baseball, will always be there to comfort us. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good one.